Hi.
Hey everybody, welcome to Knock Knock Hi with the Glauc and Fleckens. I'm Dr. Glauc and Flecken, also known as Will Flannery.
I am Lady Glauc and Flecken, also known as Kristin Flannery.
And just before we started recording, you asked me to prescribe you some antibiotics.
That was a joke, to be clear. I know that, you will never do that.
Why?
You've never...
Because I'm not capable, or because I honestly don't know if I'm capable?
I know.
What would I give you? Do I give you like penicillin or Zosyn? No, that's like a hospital antibiotic.
I specified amoxicillin. I did half the work for you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but no,
No, it's just a joke.
I have not prescribed. I don't know what the rules are these days about.
Yeah. You've never given a prescription to our family members for anything.
With so much like unethical stuff happening in the healthcare system, honestly, it's like, it feels like there's no rules anymore. Like,
well,
I could just prescribe whatever I want for anybody.
I don't think that's the lesson to take away.
It's not. It's not. If the Board of Medicine is listening, please disregard this episode. All right. So this is a Glauc talk. So we're just, I've got a few things for you. We'll do a little bit of medicine.
Okay.
A little bit of a sense of smell.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Absolutely.
intrigued.
And also something from our personal life.
Oh, dear. Do I need to be afraid? You didn't run this past me.
I did not. I had dinner with our daughter and her friend.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I did not yet get to hear the debrief about that.
What's great is that she is now expanding her food palette.
Mm-hmm. Did she ate?
Oh, yeah.
Something?
She has some pad thai.
All right.
Absolutely. A little spring roll action. Just really it's good stuff. And this is a long time coming because our family are full of picky eaters, except for me.
We have, well, some of us, certainly me and perhaps one of the children, have ARFID, as we have discussed.
Sure, you have been officially diagnosed. Yes. Our children have not. But anyway, they're also kids.
Yes.
But now that our oldest is 14 and is becoming more adventurous, and I'm loving it because now I can actually, for the first time in like 20 years, I can actually like go to a place that sells food not made in this country, traditionally.
Correct. That makes us sound racist. It's not that. It is just
I'm talking like Thai food
with food
sushi.
That's really flavorful tends to be difficult for people with ARFID.
Something that like historically did not originate in this country. That's what I mean.
Well, okay.
What?
It's not that we don't eat those things because they did not originate in this country. It's just they tend to have lots of like spices and...
clearly not where I was going with this.
You never know with the internet,
People, nobody here likes spice except for me. I love it. And so now we're getting to be more advanced. I'm actually like researching like the restaurants in the Portland metro area that
never go to
now
them.
I get, it's like it's a whole new world has opened up for me.
To be clear, I have always, all 20 years we've known each other so far, I have always said, please eat whatever and wherever you want. Just don't make me eat it.
It's super awesome to take someone to a restaurant and then just eat by yourself.
Okay. However, I will get like a drink if you want. No more than a water. Like
I get what you're saying.
I can often do maybe a dessert or an appetite. Like there's at least one thing
you have never
that I can do
or,
somewhere.
You have never limited me or shamed me.
Yeah.
It's more just a practicality type thing. Yeah. And it's like, then what would we do? We're going to two different restaurants, and
I am really happy to pre-eat. Like that has been a part of my life, my entire life. So it literally is not a thing for me. It tends to be a bigger deal for the people that I am eating with.
A term I did not even hear until I met you.
Yeah.
There's pre-gaming.
Pre-gaming, you pre-eat before you go out for a meal.
Student, because you want to drink the cheap alcohol before you go out, and so you don't have to buy as many like expensive drinks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now you pre-eat because the restaurant has disgusting food.
I'm sure it's very good for most people.
Anyway, so we went to a local Thai restaurant,
Mhm.
and what's great is that our daughter has a best friend
Mhm.
who pushes her to be more adventurous and
Yes.
trying different things. So that's very much that's helped tremendously. Also,
Yes.
this friend was asking me questions about being a doctor.
Really?
That was part of the reason why she suggested that the 3 of us go to a restaurant.
Really? I
Yeah.
did not know that part.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
little informational interview.
Absolutely. She had a list
Good
of
for her.
questions. She brought out a
She had a
she
list?
had brought out a sticky note.
Is this an assignment for school or something?
No, she's like, honestly, I think she's, they're entering ninth grade soon,
Yeah.
starting to think about like what do
Yeah.
they want to do with their life. And her mom is a veterinarian.
Uh-huh.
And so she's asking like about the human side of
Right.
medicine and something that she's interested in. She likes biology and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
she's
Oh,
asking
that's
me.
so cute.
It was like very they were great questions, just like, "When did you know you wanted to be a doctor?" And, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So, and then we started talking about, like, I was asking them some questions about, like, what and they're both Gen,
They're,
Z,
like, right on the cusp.
like,
They're, like, the very
young Gen Z.
last Gen Z or the very first Gen Alpha, depending on where you
Right.
cut it off.
Yeah, yeah. And so I was asking them about, like, what do they think about their, life and careers and, like, what they might wanna do.
Mhm.
And I am sorry to announce that our daughter is seriously considering trying to become an astronaut.
No, she's not.
I swear she is. And she was kind of like, nervous about telling me. I
Oh.
think because of how much she knows you dislike the idea of any
Of
of our
my
family
family
members
members
going into
leaving the
space.
planet.
She's like, I don't know, I really like space and kinda I think it'd be cool to, I don't know, like, be an astronaut or something." And, like, that was, like, very, like,
Uh-huh.
she just snuck it in there. And so we got to talking about it, and then I, of course, like, after the dinner, I was just, like, Googling, like, "How do you become an astronaut?"
Yeah.
'Cause I was like,
Don't you need to be, like, interested in, like, flying?
so there's different pathways to doing it.
Okay.
And the advice that I saw, mostly from Reddit threads, but also, like, looking at some, like, actual, formal training program stuff is basically as early as possible, you just, like, load up on math and science.
Mhm.
Like, all the math and all the science.
Okay.
Like, what all the STEM stuff you could possibly do. You
Makes
just,
sense.
like, shove it all in your brain as early and as often as possible.
Mhm.
But then you gotta have some kind of extreme environment, exposure. Whether that's like, scuba diving.
Does Texas in July count?
It's close. That was not on the list, but it probably should have been. Yeah, go somewhere where there's lots of mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Um, so, like, kind of experience doing, like, mountain rescue stuff, like, if you like
Mhm.
skiing, like, doing that kinda thing, or just being, like, trained in scuba diving, doing a lot of scuba
Yeah.
diving, uh, you know, I don't know, just, like, hiking or in, like, difficult terrain, mountain climbing, like, basically, the idea is that you're comfortable in harsh conditions.
Right.
And I was like, "Well, like, that's gotta weed out, like, a lot of people," and turns out, yeah, that's the point.
Yeah.
Because, like, of all the thousands of people that put in an application to, like, NASA or,
Mhm.
whatever the
Training programs or
Space
whatever you
Force,
do?
if it's
Oh, yeah, I
still
forgot that's a
the
thing.
US Space Force, it's like the admission, the people
Yeah.
that are accepted, it's crazy low for the number of people that they actually accept in these programs.
Mhm.
But then I told her, I was like, because I knew this during our, previously, before our dinner, I was like, I know you can get there from being a physician.
Yeah, I knew this was gonna come up at some point in this
You
conversation.
can. Now, you will be happy to hear she really has no interest in being a doctor. and doing medical school now at this point.
Yeah.
She doesn't. Um, and but then I was like looking around, like, well, how would you actually do that? So I did find,
Because you used to joke with me
yeah,
that you well, I think this is when you were, like, in med school, you were trying to decide what kind of a doctor you wanted to be,
yeah,
and you were saying that, you wanted to be a space doctor.
I would tease you about it.
Yeah.
Yep, yep. Um, because for context, my dad worked in aerospace
Right.
his whole career, so
Yes.
space is always like a thing in
Which
our
is why you grew
house,
up in
and
Houston
yeah, I grew up in the Houston area because he worked at NASA, not at NASA, but
with
in
NASA.
in that industry. Um, and so, obviously that's kind of bled into our, raising our kids,
Mhm.
and so they're around it as well and hear about it. Um,
Well, and this particular daughter has always been obsessed with space
yeah.
from the time she was, like, a tiny little thing.
Over the holidays, we went like stargazing and in Big Bend National Park. It was great. Um, and so anyway, so for being a physician, like you go to med school,
Yeah.
and there's probably several of these, but I found a space medicine fellowship at UCLA.
Hmm.
Makes sense because Southern California, it's where Jet Propulsion Laboratory
Mhm.
is, SpaceX,
Right.
the tech, lots of tech there.
Yeah.
Um, and you do like rotations
Mhm.
during this fellowship at like SpaceX, at Caltech, at the research opportunities with NASA, clinical training in surgery, interventional radiology, ophthalmology, dentistry, hyperbarics,
Mm.
biomechanical engineering. You also do a little engineering, 2-year fellowship.
Alright.
You have to, right now, you have to do because fellowship comes after residency. So you'd have
Yes,
to
I'm
do,
aware.
I know
I'm
you
pretty sure our
know,
listeners are aware.
maybe some people don't. All right.
It's true,
It
I guess
goes
not everyone's in medicine
college,
that listens.
med school, residency, fellowship.
Yes.
And if you're internal medicine, you do a third or fourth or fifth fellowship.
Mhm.
And you just keep doing fellowships until you die
Mhm.
or retire. And so you would do emergency medicine first.
Okay.
You have to do emergency medicine.
Mhm.
And then, which makes sense. Like if of all the things
It's
that you
probably
would
gonna be an emergency in
want in
space.
space,
Yeah.
and then from the Reddit threads I was seeing, you need to obviously do this type of training, be comfortable in extreme environments.
Mhm.
But also they're looking for people who are very personable
Mhm.
and like get along with everybody,
Mhm.
which would probably at this point preclude our daughter.
Yep.
She's
She is wonderful.
she's a bit
We're not but
she
she's
can,
very introverted,
she can be a bit prickly,
and she has yes, she's a little, acerbic, maybe, in her
sarcastic.
humor.
Yep,
Where
yep.
does she get that from,
I
I
love it.
wonder?
I love it. I'm a big fan of it. But yeah, that's the introverted thing. So I'm not writing it off just yet.
Mhm.
But I think the path, obviously, because you can like have the pathway of like being like a pilot, right? Like that's like a
Right.
popular one. So lots of like jet, going through the military,
Yeah.
doing a fighter pilot and all that stuff. Like that's one pathway.
Mhm.
But I think the one that she would most likely pursue would be something like going through medical
You
school.
think so? She does not want to be in medicine.
It's early. She's only
She
14 years old.
this is true, she could change her mind. That said, she has never been interested.
Hey, whenever
And guess what her least favorite science is?
I know biology, I know,
Mhm.
but ophthalmology has a lot of physics in it with optics.
Yeah.
You just have to be okay with gross, like, eyeball pus.
Yeah, I don't think that she is.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know.
So, okay, I'm not too worried then about this,
You're not?
given hearing the, pathway here.
I'm gonna work on it. We'll
No,
see. I did tell her, you have to, like, be strong. Like, you need to, like,
physically.
physically very fit.
Yeah.
And so, we'll see if she starts showing more interest in, like,
Yeah.
doing some stuff with me, like,
Strength training and
strength
stuff.
training and, maybe playing some ultimate frisbee,
I don't think that's what they're
going on
looking
some
for.
long hikes. We got beautiful hikes in the Pacific Northwest. I think, the most likely occupation of ultimate frisbee players is astronaut.
Do you think so?
I think I have no data to back that up, but what else could it be? I don't know. Anyway, that was most of our conversation. It was fun.
Yeah.
Good.
They're getting to be, like, really fun ages where you can just, like,
What did
have
you
conversations about whatever.
What did you wanna be when you grew up?
I've never known what I wanted to be. The things that,
Well, you
like
had things.
I
What are
had
the
things. I've
things?
never had like, you just, like, knew doctor. That's the thing. And you
Well,
after high school. Because
yeah.
comedy
Yeah.
wasn't
It was all yeah.
so, I've never been like that.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I wanted to do, but things that I could see myself doing would be teaching. When I was little, I wanted to be a writer.
You wanted to clean floors for a living.
I did not. I just did that for fun as a child.
Why can't we have one of those kids?
I know.
How did that happen?
Well, because my favorite movie was Cinderella, and there's that scene where she's, like, singing this really beautiful song, and she's cleaning the floor, and all these soap bubbles are going up in the air, and it looks so pretty, and it just, like, seems like such a romantic thing to be doing, you know, and it not romantic like lovey, but just,
Yeah,
like
no, I get it. Yeah.
and so I was reenacting that scene. That is really it wasn't really that I wanted to clean the floor. It was I had a little Cinderella dress my mom made me
Out
out of,
of
like,
rags.
rags. Yep. And I would put that on and be Cinderella.
Like vacuuming, cleaning
Yeah.
windows.
Yeah.
You're the
I don't
first
like
kid in history who
cleaning.
loved chores. I'm just
No,
saying.
no.
Yes, you are.
I
I
did
think you
not.
are. Yeah.
I like things to be clean
This
around
is
me.
why we found
True.
each other. We needed each other because you need to have a little mess in your life.
Do I though?
Yes, you do. Let's move on to the next topic. Actually, let's take a break. Let's come back. We got some. We're going to talk about olfaction.
All right.
Hey, Kristin.
Yeah.
Be honest. Do people think about their eyelids?
Honestly, I don't.
Okay.
Not unless something's wrong.
They should, because eyelids are amazing. They distribute your tears. They protect you from incoming objects. They're really important for overall eye health as well.
And we both know they can also be affected by something very common, Demodex mite.
Oh, yeah. Demodex blepharitis. When
That's right.
Demodex mites overgrow and they start causing problems like itchy, red, irritated eyelids with crusties.
Collarettes.
Collarettes, you got it. And everyone should know that if your eyelids aren't healthy, your eyes won't be either. That's why it's important to see an eye doctor, to get an eyelid check, which is part of a normal eye exam.
And the good news is there's a prescription eye drop treatment available for Demodex blepharitis.
It's great news. To learn more about eyelid health and Demodex blepharitis, visit miteslovelids.com. Again, that's miteslovelids.com to learn more. This ad is brought to you by Tarsus Pharmaceuticals. Hey, Kristin?
Yeah.
I just want you to know that I am very well rested right now.
Are you?
Absolutely.
Why?
Why?
Yeah. How did you get so well rested?
Because I've been draping myself in cozy earth.
Oh.
Yeah, all through the nights.
Those sheets are very
the
good.
sheets and the comforter. Oh my God, the comforter. So this Cozy Earth comforter, you feel calmer and cooler because you sleep better when you're cool.
That's right.
And it's like it's so soft. It just feels like a cloud. And then when you wake up, you know what you could do?
What?
You put your socks on.
Ooh.
And Cozy Earth has socks.
Head to toe.
It's like
Cozy Earth.
It's like they know that like you want to like feel like you're sleeping on a cloud and you want to be walking on a cloud.
That's right.
That's what like all day. I'm on cloud 9. That's all it is. And right now you can get 100 night sleep trial with Cozy Earth. And also a 10-year warranty. So they take care of you.
Yeah, nothing to lose.
Absolutely. Discover how care in every detail transforms simple routines into moments of true comfort and ease. Head to CozyEarth.com and use code KNOCK for up to 20% off. And if you get a post-purchase survey, be sure to mention you heard about Cozy Earth right here. Experience the craft behind the comfort and make every day feel intentional. All right, here we go. Science.
Okay.
Medicine. What do you know about olfaction?
Did you forget that I studied neuroscience?
I know you did. You always remind me.
Because you always ask me things like that. Like, of course I know what that is. It's the sense of smell. It's, you've got your olfactory areas of the brain. You got your
Mhm.
olfactory system.
So you got the nerves
Mhm.
and kind of right in your nose that go up through your cribriform plate.
Mhm.
Spell that, cribriform.
Cribriform.
Nice. Through your cribriform plate, which basically separates your brain from your sinuses.
Mhm.
So through that little bone, basically,
Mhm.
and into the olfactory bulb of
Yes.
your brain.
Mhm.
Or maybe the olfactory bulb is separate because then from the olfactory bulb, it goes along the olfactory tract through the olfactory nerve
Yes.
to the place in the frontal lobe that processes olfaction. I'm not sure where that is.
Is it the frontal lobe?
It might not be. I don't know. Olfactory
Kind of
cortex.
think it
The olfactory
isn't, but it's
cortex.
been a while.
It's got, I have it right here. Olfactory, it connects numerous areas and the amygdala, the thalamus,
Yeah, that's more where I was
the
thinking.
hypothalamus, the
Limbic system.
hippocampus. That makes sense because, like, you have memory.
Smell, yeah.
You
And
remember
and
smells.
smells are really tied to emotion.
That's right. So the amygdala processes like pheromones and
Mhm.
things like that. All right. So anyway, the reason I'm bringing this up, by the way, you have you have like taste buds, like thousands of taste buds.
Yeah.
You have smell buds. You must, right?
I learned how this all works a long time ago, but I have since forgotten. I don't think you have buds,
No, they're not like
but
yeah. I
there
think
are receptors, yeah.
receptors that will recognize individual
Y Like
smells.
chemicals at least,
Yeah,
yeah.
you must have massive smell
I
buds.
know. And taste buds.
They're related.
They are.
Chemosensory system. That's what they call it. The
Oh, yeah,
chemosensory systems.
chemicals and sensory, yep.
That's right, because they both give your brain the information about the chemical composition of
Mhm.
objects. Okay, so now everybody's like, "The hell is he talking about?" Like, this is like smell is the third most important sense of the five senses. Why are you spending so much time on this? And that's because of an artificial nose
Hmm,
technology that is being developed.
interesting.
That's right. Researchers have tested a proof of concept device that enabled people who lost their normal sense of smell to detect the presence of certain odors.
Huh.
Rather than exploiting the smell pathway in which nasal cells send signals along olfactory nerves to the brain, the technology makes use of a lesser known nerve highway in the nose that transmits other sensations, including the kick of wasabi and the coolness of mint.
Interesting. What is that nerve highway?
This is called nerve highway. Smell nerve highway.
Oh, yeah.
Humans have, oh, here we go. Humans have 400 different olfactory receptors
Yeah, there we go.
that are thought to enable the nose to detect billions of odors. There's no way people.
How many chemicals are there? How many combinations of
There's
those chemicals can there
no, no.
be?
There's at most like 1,000 chemicals. Come on. So I give you
But
like
chemicals combine with other chemicals to make different chemicals.
I give you a max of 1,500 odors. That's all you're getting.
No,
Like there's
that's
no. Come
ridiculous.
on, come on. Can you write down how many odors could you write down?
I don't think I can write them down, but I bet you I could smell them.
Okay, maybe. We need a smell scientist to come on this
Ooh,
podcast.
that would be fascinating.
So
A rhinologist.
there you go. There you go. People can lose some or all of their sense of smell for a variety of reasons, including head trauma, viral infections such as COVID-19.
Sure.
People with long-term anosmia. I like
That's
that
a
word.
fun word to say. Anosmia.
Anosmia. Describe a significantly reduced quality of life and are at higher risk of mental health disorders. This is a medicine. Sorry, not medicine. This is an article from Science.org. So notes Helena Stanley, research scientist at CNRS,
The
the
French
French
National
National Research Agency. The idea that if you lose your sense of smell, this isn't as bad as losing another sense, I think is actually quite wrong.
I don't know if they asked any ophthalmologists about
Yeah,
that.
no ophthalmologists were consulted about this. But all right, yeah, I'll give. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we've talked about this before, like the order of
Yes,
importance of the senses, because we have to have order for everything.
I guess so.
And
Can we have order in our home?
we all clearly know that sight is number one. Like, there's no disputing that. Like, people have tried. There's no disputing that.
It's very important one for humans, yes.
Yes, yes. And then you could convince me that touch could be further up than we think.
Yeah.
Because what if you had no sensation in your body?
There are people,
Right,
not no sensation probably, but, like, no pain. That's a big problem.
right. Yeah, you wouldn't be all you'd need is to, like, you break a foot and
Yeah.
can't feel it, or
Right.
you get a laceration on a part of your body because you stepped on something, you didn't realize it, like a really sharp Lego.
A sharp
Like
Lego.
sharp Lego,
Okay.
the razor sharp Lego, and, it gets infected, and you end up with then sepsis and die.
That would be a problem.
So, you could convince me that that's up there. Smell and hearing are tough. Like, taste, that's last. Like,
Yeah.
you can live a relatively normal life. I mean, it would suck to be able to taste, like, good food anymore.
I think that would
Although I
probably
know who I'm
have
talking to right now,
I
and we
know.
just went over this.
That's what I was gonna say.
You who wants to just be able to subsist on
I
a
could use
flavorless paste.
for honestly, other than vision and hearing, those are fine. All the rest of my senses, I could use, like, a little, like, down regulation.
Mhm. So
So I wouldn't mind a little less taste.
So in 2018, researchers found that electrodes placed in the sinuses near the olfactory bulb, we talked about that, like near the
Right
brain,
at the base.
right at the base of the brain region that processes odor signals, could stimulate a perception of smell, with people reporting onion or
Hmm.
fruity senses.
Interesting.
Sense. Um, and scientists are now working to develop implants that could more directly and specifically stimulate like certain parts of that pathway.
Oh, yeah,
Kind
so
of
akin to cochlear
kind of like
implants.
cochlear
Yeah,
implants.
that's
Yeah, exactly.
interesting.
But this current study that we're talking about
Mhm.
opts for an alternative solution. The trigeminal nerve
Oh, I remember
receives
that guy.
signals from all over your face.
Mhm,
You got a branch up on your forehead. You got a branch on your cheek.
mhm.
You got a branch down here.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3. Um, it includes your nasal cavity, where it detects temperature of inhaled air. Don't inhale hair. Inhaled air, as well as the presence of irritants.
Uh-huh.
So, one of these researchers says they wanted to try to recruit this sense to have people who lost their sense of smell detect and discriminate odors. So they're just going through the trigeminal pathway, which is
Yeah.
still not quite sure like how that would work, but it's interesting, I guess.
Yeah.
So anyway, you might have a artificial nose pretty soon.
That is really fascinating. Like, that's one of the things that we have not been able to, you know, recreate digitally in the, like, online space.
Before you get excited, let me explain to you how this research experiment was done to
Oh,
people.
dear. Okay.
In initial experiments, researchers hooked up 9 people, 5 with normal smell and 4 with olfactory disorders, to the device to see whether they could detect electrical signals sent up through their nostrils.
Okay.
So they had like
Did
electrodes
in their nostrils.
up into their nostrils,
Yeah.
which is interesting because that was a flop of an ophthalmology device. What ever
What?
told you about this
No.
for dry eye?
What?
You know how when you like, have you ever like plucked a nose hair
No.
or pulled out a nose hair?
No.
You've never had to do that? You never had
No.
a straggler come out your
No.
nostril? You just had to get rid of that?
No. Do you?
We all do.
I've never.
It's hair. It
Okay.
grows.
But it has a life cycle. My hair grows so slowly, so maybe this is one of the areas where this is helpful to me.
You've never had a nose hair peek out
No.
and explore the world.
No. Not to my knowledge.
Anyway, okay. It's so hard sometimes to have you relate to normal human
I
experience.
know. How do you think it feels to be me?
If you pluck it,
Okay.
it causes intense watering of your eyes.
Oh,
It's like
okay.
a noxious stimulus.
Yeah, or like if you get hit in the nose.
There
Yeah,
you go. Yeah, for some reason you do seem to get hit in the
I
nose
do.
quite often. So I'm good. I'm glad we could find some common ground there. Um, you're like, oh, and your eyes water. Well, some brilliant person decided, well, that's something people might want to experience
Mm.
to treat their dry eye, and so
Yeah.
developed an electrode thing. It's
Mhm.
like two straight bar like rods.
Yeah.
You jam up in your nose and turn it on, and it electrocutes your
Oh,
nasal
jeez.
passageways and causes you
No
to
one
tear
saw
up.
this coming, that this would be a flop?
Yeah, people didn't like it.
No,
No,
I
I mean,
wouldn't
it
think so.
worked. You tear up.
I bet.
You tear up like crazy. You just the waterworks are turned on, but, yeah, for some reason, like,
Rather just get some eye drops.
just get some eye drops, and the idea of, like, doing this in public,
Yeah.
it's kinda, I don't know.
Yeah, sticking
So
some rods up your nose.
so that
"Excuse me one moment."
yeah, I mean, like, there was, like, a solid, like, year and a half people were talking about this, and,
Mhm.
like, you'd have some, doctors that show up to the conferences and, they are are paid to, like, promote this thing,
Yeah.
and it always struck me as, like, who on earth?
Mhm. Did they do any
Uh,
market
in
research?
in all the products in the dry eye market, which there are so many of them,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
this is what you're gonna devote millions of dollars to? Anyway, the scientist, also tested whether people could distinguish 4 different smells using this setup.
Okay.
The device translated the smell of lilac, for example, into 2 pulses separated by 400 milliseconds, whereas raspberry became 4 zaps 100 milliseconds apart.
Mm.
So,
So
like,
they're getting zapped.
they're getting zapped, but, like, at different intervals and different number of times, it's
Uh-huh.
producing different smells, I think. Oh, no, the sticks that they're using to zap are scented.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so yeah, and then they're and
But if
so
they're scented and they're going up your nose, you're just gonna smell them the
unless you
regular way.
unless you have a smell
Oh,
disorder,
right, okay.
right? So, yeah, the people with a normal sense of smell
Yeah,
could
probably
sense it.
just smelled it
People
both
that
ways.
Yeah, people that had a smell disorder could still discriminate the different odors
Mm.
based on this device doing it.
Interesting.
So,
Oh, but it says they couldn't say what the smells were, they could just tell the difference. They could
yeah,
tell there were 4
that it
different
was 4
ones.
different smells, yeah.
Hmm.
So, it's fascinating,
I wanna know how much they paid people to participate in this study.
I mean, what I've learned
What does that consent form look like?
right? So, um, especially in ophthalmology, because in our practice, we have, like, we run clinical trials.
Mhm.
And when people have a disorder that, like, does affect their quality of life,
Yeah.
like, people are more than happy to, like, have you just try out new devices, new drugs,
Yeah.
things, because, they don't have, it, it's people sometimes people think that it's like experimenting on people, and I have this,
Mhm.
like, knee jerk, "Oh, no, this is not Nazi Germany where we
Right.
can't be
Ugh.
experimenting on people." But it's not like it's no, obviously not like that.
Mhm.
Um, these are treatments that have already been tested, and in a lot of these situations, it's actually really, uh, great for the patients because they get access
Yeah.
to these, like, seriously cutting edge treatments. In ophthalmology, it's a lot of, intravitreal injections, so medicine that you inject into your eye.
Mhm.
Kristen loves it whenever I
Love
talk about
it.
these,
Love them.
that are, like, new emerging technologies, and the alternative is, you have macular degeneration and
Right.
you just keep losing vision, and so,
I get
um
that, like, if you have something that you would like to you have a problem that you would like to not have, and you get to a point where you've sorta tried everything, or there's nothing to try, I can see where, like, you could be
doesn't
motivated.
mean the treatment is pleasant.
No, but you might just be, like, motivated enough because you're really wanting to solve this problem.
Yeah,
But for the control group,
yeah. Oh, yeah, why well, yeah, good point. I mean, they're getting paid.
that's what I'm saying, I wonder
Yeah,
how much they had to pay
yeah.
people to agree to do this study.
How much would you have to be paid? What do you think?
To let them shock my nose. I mean, the COVID tests, those little swabs,
Yeah.
those were unpleasant
That was
enough.
I hated those.
Yeah.
Ugh. I'd probably, do it for like a few $100.
Oh, you've got to raise your
Well,
standards.
but also it's kind of cool. Like you get to be part of like a study. As
I
long
guess
as
it depends on how
Depends- yeah.
hard you're getting zapped.
Also depends on the consent form, like the waiver.
Mm-hmm.
If there's like a chance of like death,
Sure.
I'd
Like,
raise my price.
Yeah.
I'd raise my price a little bit. So anyway, so we're having an artificial nose. We already have artificial ears.
And artificial tears. You walked right into that.
Okay, fine. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Cochlear implants.
Yeah.
So we got that artificial hearing, smelling. I don't know if they've got an artificial tongue yet. That would be tough because it's a muscle, and I don't know the taste buds. I don't know how that works. And we kind of have artificial vision with artificial
Contacts and
lenses,
glasses and
but we can't transplant an eyeball yet. So
Mhm.
can't do whole eye. Can really not even do retina very well.
Yeah.
There's some gene therapy that you can inject into the retina to treat certain diseases now, and that's going to be like growing.
Every time you talk about it, I get like lightheaded and like start to black out a little.
Like a
Like
needle,
it makes me faint.
a needle in your eye.
Ah,
This is my livelihood.
I
you're
know.
talking
That's
about.
why it's yours and not mine because I can't do that.
Actually, I don't do those injections anymore. I send them to my partners.
It's true.
What else? What else can we? What other artificial?
Artificial? Do we have artificial touch?
We have artificial joints. We don't have artificial. No, like skin, like sensation, like touching
Yeah,
things. I don't think we
I
have
don't
that.
know of any.
There's a face transplant we can do. I don't know. That
Can we? Like they've done how
they've
many?
done a
One?
face, like one.
A face,
It's like
yeah.
one face transplant. Yeah,
And
slowly
you're not
but surely.
counting the Nicolas Cage, John Travolta movie.
Okay, we've done 2
Face
face
off.
transplants. That was right.
Actually, there were 2 in that, so it'd be 3. They each got
Oh, right. Man, I'm impressed. Coming out with Face Off. Remember who was in that movie?
I just said.
Nicolas Cage and.
I said.
Oh, you said the other one too?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't hear you say John Travolta's name. Oh, okay.
Do you need a cochlear implant? Or do you just have husband hearing?
That's our episode of Knock Knock. Hi. I can always I always.
We were
wanna
just
say
talking about eyes.
Knock Knock. Hi. Let us know what you think about the artificial nose, or any career path that you're trying to gently steer your child away from, or toward, and how you did that. I might want to push my child into pursuing a career as an astronaut. Kristin might divorce me if I try to do that. Every family has a different dynamic. So let us know what yours is.
And how much you would need to be paid to be shocked in the nose.
You can email us, knockknockhi@human-content.com. You can hang out with us on our social media platforms. Also, the Human Content Podcast family. Some great pods over on Instagram and TikTok at Human Content Pods. Thanks to all the listeners leaving reviews. If you're leaving reviews and feedback. If you subscribe and comment on your favorite podcasting app or on YouTube at Glauc and Fleckens, that's where you can find all these episodes. I like looking at those comments.
It's fun.
Yeah. People had some thoughts about we talked about the competitiveness of med school applications and
Step 1.
the emphasis on step 1 being pass fail. Was it a good idea, bad idea? And the consensus basically for all the comments is we don't know. We have no idea what the hell to think of it.
Yeah.
Some people were for it, some people against it. But I don't know. But anyway, then we had a comment from @Fizzin and on YouTube said, "I for one would not inject my penis with hyaluronic acid for Olympic glory."
I don't have one, but I feel that I would agree.
Were you familiar with that story?
Yes.
I told you about that, right?
I did. I think I saw it independently, but
I'm
yeah.
wondering if it's like a embellishment, like if it actually, because it never really percolated far into like the consciousness
Yeah, you would think
of society.
that a story like that would
was
really have traveled.
Like when the pole vaulter knocked knocked the thing off with his penis. That was a huge
That
deal.
went
Everyone was
everywhere.
talking about
But
it.
that had a visual to go along with it.
Sure, that's true. I just didn't see a lot of TikToks, like a lot of people talking about it, So anyway,
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
I don't
It's, penis injections. I don't know.
What was the reason again?
What can't people inject themselves with now, though? I mean, every part of the body seems to get an injection. Somebody's interested in that.
Well, never mind. We don't have to go into it. Have we already talked about this? Did we talk about it on an episode? We must have if we had
I talked about it on Knock Knock Eye.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was talking about people who are injecting the ski. Oh, was it the ski jumpers?
Yes.
The ski jumpers.
Oh, yeah. It should be. Yeah.
Because
Reduce drag.
Because they're very specific on what size outfit you can have. Because they don't want you to have like extra
fabric.
But people were allegedly injecting their penises with hyaluronic acid to qualify them for having more fabric on their thing, which is good for ski jumpers because you kind of can create your own little like flying squirrel situation where you can like your lift is you glide further if you can kind of stretch everything out, including your penis skin apparently.
But where does it go after? Like hyaluronic acid
it stays
gonna
there. You're gonna have a very misshapen penis after a while. I mean, just look at what it does to people's faces.
Right.
The lips get
the filler
a bit deformed, and it spreads into the face, and the face gets whiter, and it's. So I mean, at least it's in your penis, and that you technically only have to be the person that looks at that. But
but
still, no one wants a misshapen penis.
I don't. Well, never mind. This is a family show.
Is it?
I don't know.
Anyway, all right. I didn't think we were going to go into this, but we have. Full video episodes are up every week on our YouTube channel at Glauc and Fleckins. We also have Patreon, lots of cool perks, bonus episodes, early ad-free episode access, interactive community live stream events, patreon.com/Glauc and Fleckins. Speaking of Patreon community perks, let's shout out the Jonathans. We have Lucia C., Edward K., Marion W., Mr. Granddaddy, Caitlin C., Brianna L., MP Cole, Tracy B., Mary H., Keith G., Parker, Muhammad L., David H., Kaylee A., Gabe, Gary M., Eric B., Marlene S., Scott M., Kelsey M., Dr. Hoover, Sean M., Ryan N., Jess K., Hawkeye MD, Bubbly Salt, Shawnee D. Patreon Roulette, random shout out to someone in the emergency medicine tier. Shout out to Ann for being a patron. Thank you, Ann. And thank you all for listening. We're your hosts, Will and Christopher Flannery, also known as the Glauc and Fleckins. Our executive producers are Will Flannery, Kristen Flannery, Aaron Corney, Rob Goldman, and Shanti Burke. Our editor engineers Jason DePortizo. Our music is by Omer Ben-Zvi. To learn about Knock Knock High's program disclaimer, ethics policies, submission verification, and licensing terms, and HIPAA release terms, you can go to glaucandfleckins.com or reach out to us, knockknockhigh@human-content.com with questions, concerns, or fun medical penis injection related puns. Knock Knock High is a human content production.
Knock, knock, goodbye.
Thanks for watching the episode. You can find more on that playlist over there. If you prefer to listen, or you just had your eyes dilated, you can binge full episodes wherever you get your podcasts. Or join the party over on Patreon, where you get early access episodes, hang out with us, get lots of exclusive bonus content. Help you subscribe, leave a comment below. Let us know what you think.